This is the People of Bartlett podcast. I'm Dustin with Bartlett Local. Welcome to episode 8, where we meet ANDe Demetriou. ANDe's a father, a husband, and runs Blue City Kayaks. He loves to take people on their first kayaking experience. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage, and let's meet ANDe. All right, we got ANDe Demetriou with us today. Did I say that right, ANDe?
You said that right. Good job.
Great. So, ANDe, now you're with Blue City Kayaks.
That's right.
And what is Blue City Kayaks?
So we do basically we do kayaking tours. That's the bread and butter. We also offer some beginners classes if you're wanting to pick up kayaking as a new hobby. It's a lot of fun, but you're a little bit nervous about getting on the water. We can help you become a good paddler before you get out there and get out on your own. We're safety trained. I could go into that, but it'd take a couple minutes. But we know what we're doing, and we want to help people feel comfortable and safe when they get out on the water. And if they do get into trouble, we want them to know what to do to help get themselves out of it.
Okay. ANDe, who are you exactly? What do you do? What makes ANDe tick?
Oh my gosh, that's a complex question. Big Star Wars fan all my life. That's just about anything Star Wars I like to keep up with, as long as it's canon. I don't really care about the stuff outside of canon. Married, 3 kids, and my youngest is 15, my middle one is 18, and my oldest is soon to be 21. And I don't know, I just like going out and having a good time, especially if it's out on the water. That's kind of what makes me tick.
Okay, so what is your everyday like? Do you just wake up and start, get your kayak ready and go hit the water every day?
So I've got another business that I operate called Gemini Multimedia, and it used to kind of focus on photography and video. Right now, not so much, but I transfer a lot of home movies to digital files and DVDs. So I get up and have my first couple cups of coffee and get rolling with that, and trying to get people to binge watch their own home movies as opposed to binge watching some of the streaming services.
Okay. And you operate in Bartlett?
Well, we're a home-based business, so yeah, that's where the marketing and the phone calls and the stuff like that happens. We don't have a storefront or anything, but the administration of the business happens in Bartlett, but we operate wherever there's publicly accessible water.
Okay.
So along the Wolf River, or any lakes that are open right now, and that kind of thing.
Okay. ANDe, can you tell us about your connection to Bartlett?
Wow. So I grew up in Memphis, not far from Bartlett, when I was a kid. And when I was 7 years old, my parents decided to join Bartlett United Methodist Church. And I went there for probably 9 or 10 years when I was a kid. And then we moved to Cordova and started going to a church out that way. And I graduated from Germantown High School. And then in 99, we moved here from Cordova, my wife and I did, and been here ever since, which almost 21 years. It'll be 21 years in June.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 21 years.
Yeah, that sounds like the right math.
So, and we go to Bartlett United Methodist Church again. I mean, it was like, we were visiting churches, and we walk in the door. First time I'd been to that church in 13 years probably. And the guy that answered the door was the guy that was my baseball coach when I played baseball for the church when I was 11 years old.
Full circle, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So it's just like I'd never left, and Bartlett's just like that. It's a nice community to be in.
So you mentioned Star Wars. What other hobbies do you have?
Oh my gosh. So and I'm trying to think of that. That's a pretty big one as far as just hobbies go. I like to collect Star Wars stuff. Kayaking obviously is a hobby. It was a hobby before it was a business opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm out on the water. If it's sunny, I'm out on the water every day.
Okay. That's, that sounds great. Sounds awesome. So, when you're not in the water and you're just spending time with your family, where do you guys like to hang out? Do you have any restaurants you enjoy or anything in Bartlett?
Oh wow, yeah. The so my sister lives in Bartlett as well, and her family, and so during the week we'll sometimes meet at Mama's Barbecue and have coffee or breakfast or whatever. Kay's Donuts at the corner of Altruria and Memphis Arlington. We'll meet there every Friday to have donuts and coffee. So yeah, there's quite a few. We really are big fans of Los Pilares Mexican restaurant. That's a big one. God, there's a lot. Freddy's. I love Freddy's. That's a weakness of mine. Five Guys Burgers is a good one. There's just a bunch.
What kind of future would you like to see for Bartlett?
I just want to see it continue being a safe and friendly community. I love that about Bartlett. I feel safe here. I feel like it's a friendly place to be, and that's just, honestly, okay, this is my one thing I'd like to see from Bartlett moving forward. I want a Huey's here. We're the only city in Shelby County that doesn't have a Huey's, and I want one here.
Huey's
That's what I want. Yeah, that's my big goal for Bartlett.
I wonder where they would put that.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't either.
But I'm sure they'd make room for it somewhere.
So, is there something you think everyone should know about Bartlett? Maybe something you don't think everyone knows or understands?
Oh, there's a couple answers to that. I mean, I really would like for everyone to know exactly what I said I like about Bartlett. It's friendly. It's a friendly community. It's a safe community. A little known fact about Bartlett is this is something that I found out when I started kayaking more often. You can actually paddle from the middle of Bartlett to anywhere in the world that has water access. So not many people know that.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get started kayaking?
I go on a trip to the Spring River with a group of friends from college, fraternity brothers, that we go to the Spring River every summer. And a few years ago, I was in a canoe with one of them, and there's a couple places on the Spring River that are pretty rough, and we capsized on each turn, and I got really frustrated. So we have a handful of us have canoes, a handful of us have kayaks, and one of the guys in the kayaks could tell that I was really getting frustrated and mad because I felt like I was the only one doing any work to try to keep us from falling over. He said, "Why don't you let me get in the canoe and you can have my kayak?" And I got in the kayak, and just that moment on, I've been in love with it. And so that's how I got involved in kayaking. It was kind of accidental, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and then finally got around to getting a couple of my own last year, and just, man, I don't know. It just got more intense from there.
How did you get started selling it as a service?
Well, so I'm a lifelong, I've lived in Bartlett, but we all call ourselves kind of Memphians, just kind of just from the area. So I've lived in the Memphis area all my life, and had never realized that you could kayak recreationally on the Wolf River. And I got started doing that, and then I became involved with the Wolf River Conservancy, and ended up eventually becoming a river guide for them, and realized that there's a lot of people in the same situation I am. They have lived in Memphis all their lives, but didn't realize you could kayak down the Wolf River recreationally if you for free, as long as you have your own equipment. And it just seemed like the Wolf River is something that it's not something that defines Memphis, but it's one of the things that every Memphian knows about. I mean, when you're on the interstate, you cross over it. If you go from say Cordova to downtown Memphis, you cross over it three different times. So everyone knows about the Wolf River, and I just want to get more people out there. And when people started finding out that I was doing that, I'd really like to go do that. How can I do that? There wasn't really a company or a outfitter that you would call it that was filling that need. The Wolf River Conservancy floats down certain sections of it once or twice a month, but if you wanted to do it outside of that, there's no one really that fills that need without spending a ton of money. So it kind of seemed like a good fit, and it's something to do that I mean, it's just fun for me to do. And if I can get other people turned on to kayaking by introducing them to the Wolf River locally, that's a that's a good way to earn a paycheck in my book.
So when someone purchases your services, you provide the kayak?
We do, right. So we'll provide a kayak, the life jacket, a dry bag, and when it's on the river, we do a guided tour. I mean, one thing that we've noticed about people is when you ask them what their experience is on the water, they may embellish it a little bit. So we like to give a guided tour as well. So you not only do you get the kayak, the life jacket, the paddle, the dry bag, but you get our expertise. We like to focus a little bit on education as well. We know a lot about the Wolf River, a lot about the history of the Wolf River. We know, like I said, we're all safety trained. I'm a kayak instructor for the Boy Scouts of America. I can teach their kayaking BSA class. I also lead the merit badge. Well, Wolf River Conservancy River Guide, and so we have two other guides with the company, and they're all safety trained too. We've got, oh my gosh, we're all CPR certified, wilderness first aid certified. We know where the little ins and outs of the river are that a lot of people may not know about. So we just want people to be safe and have a good time.
What's one of the biggest challenges you face having your own kayaking service, I guess?
Well, it's big challenge. There's not really a huge challenge. We do kind of come up against people that might have a fear of the water. They're like, well, I really want to do that, and there's a lot of misconceptions about the Wolf River. So I'm going to say that the misconceptions about the Wolf River are the biggest. People think it's just a nasty river because it's brown. I mean, it's just got dirt in it. It's not like it's a really highly polluted river. It used to be, but it's not anymore, and people really think that way, and they think that it's this really wide, deep river, and they can be wide at times, but man, a lot of times you can walk across the river and the water won't even go up above your waist. Right now, you wouldn't want to do that because it's deep. It's dangerously deep right now. But
there's been a lot of rain lately, though.
Right. And when it gets to be in the summertime, though, and it's not raining as much, the water level in more of the urban sections, especially if you're going from that Germantown Road to Walnut Grove section, sometimes you'll be lucky if you're in 2 or 3 feet of water.
Wow. That's not deep at all.
No, people think it's like this big 15, 20-foot deep river, and it can be that way at sometimes, but it's just not it's really a pretty nice river to go down. That being said, you still have to take precautions to make sure you're safe. It's not just because it's shallow doesn't mean it's safe, it's easy, blah blah blah. You need to know what you're doing and have someone who knows what they're doing out with you.
And that's where your experience comes in. You know where to take. If it's someone's first time, you know absolutely where to take them. And if someone's done this, 10 times, they just don't own a kayak, you know exactly where to take them.
Right. I mean, if it's someone just starting out, we're gonna put them in some flat water that's not deep, and we're gonna show them their basic paddle strokes. We're gonna show them how to paddle forward, paddle backward, how to turn right, turn left, or if you want to use official boating terms, turn to starboard, turn to port, and different parts of the kayak, how to use those different strokes. If you need to make a hard turn to the left, how you do that, and when you might want to do that, or if you need to back up, or how to stop the boat in the water. And So we're going to teach them all that before they go out the first time, and we're going to have them kind of show us what they've learned, so that we feel a little bit better, taking them out. I don't want to send someone out there. They say, hey, I want to rent one of your boats, and send them out there, and we say, okay, well, we'll pick you up at Walnut Grove in a couple hours, and then here comes the boat with no person. I don't ever want that to happen.
Right. That sounds like a really neat service.
It's a lot of fun. You should come try it.
Yeah, I definitely think I will.
Cool.
Now, what age ranges? I mean, can you take children or?
Yeah, the youngest person we've had on one of our tours with this, we haven't had a river tour since November, but was, I think, 11. But we can, we've got life jackets that'll fit kids all the way down to, I don't know, 6 years old. I mean, there's a point though where you want to say, even though we could lead a child down the river, we want to make sure that the child's not going to have a crying fit halfway down, and that kind of thing. It's not that we don't want them to go. And we actually had some kayaks, some tandem kayaks, so the child could sit in the front and the parent could sit in the back, and the child can have all the benefit of going but not have to do all the work. So, but yeah, there's kind of a common sense thing we hope that some parents may take into consideration. Love to take my first grader out there, but if they get too hot or they get hungry or they get, we just don't want to have a situation that could make it not enjoyable for everyone involved.
Children
but yeah, we
can be fickle.
Right, and it's not they're all family friendly. It's not like we have big crazy, if you've ever been to the Spring River, the Buffalo River, we have these big crazy floats going on with loud music and stuff. We don't do that. Okay. It's just, it's like I said, it's more of a educational, and we even have a certain level of conservation that we talk about as well. Very
cool. Well, ANDe, I think we're going to move on to the Quickfire Questions section.
Sounds good.
For people following along at home, the Quickfire Questions are just kind of something we can shock ANDe with and maybe get some answers we didn't expect. ANDe, you ready?
Looking forward to that. I'm ready.
All right. What's the longest consecutive time you've spent in a car?
Probably 13 hours.
Where'd you go?
We were headed back from Memphis from Charleston, South Carolina. And we went from about 9 p.m. Charleston time till 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. Memphis time.
That's a pretty good trip.
Yeah.
What's one item you could never live without?
My kayak. For sure.
Okay. What's a TV series you enjoy?
Wow. There's not one currently, but I'm a big fan of, on Netflix, there was a show called Person of Interest. I don't know what channel it was on when it aired, but I really like that.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 2 words.
In 2 words. Heavy metal.
That's a great answer. Where do you want to go more than any other place in the world?
My family, the last name Demetriou is Greek, and that's kind of made me want to visit Greece. So yeah, that's going to be top of the list right now.
Okay. iPhone or Android?
Android.
If you owned a yacht, what would you call it?
The probably La Frente Grande, which is Spanish for the large forehead.
Okay.
I'm bald.
Name a book you enjoy.
None of them. I'm not a reader.
Okay.
I can't I can't think of a book that I enjoy. The Bible, but that's a cliche answer. But yeah, I'm not a big reader unless it's nonfiction and I'm reading it for knowledge than anything. Yeah.
Who is your biggest inspiration in life?
Biggest inspiration. I'm going to go with my parents, and I know that's cliche, but I do try to model my my behavior and my decisions after the way that I was brought up.
Cool. What's your absolute number one biggest pet peeve?
People not returning their shopping carts.
People not returning their shopping cart.
And I want to clarify that a little bit. I'm okay with people leaving them in the handicap spots because there's no return anywhere near the handicap spots. But anywhere else in the parking lot drives me crazy. And the reason I say that is because I've seen people that have parked in the handicap spots not be able to return them. So, but if people are parking in those spots and they shouldn't be, then yeah, they're doing a bad thing.
What chore do you hate doing?
What chore do I hate doing? Putting laundry away.
Yeah, laundry's I hate that one too.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more to go.
Sure.
When are you the most productive?
Probably in the mornings. Getting my day ready. It's easy to plan it out and maybe execute it in the afternoon.
And what's the first thing you go for in the morning? What's the first thing you grab?
Oh my gosh, the coffee canister out of the cabinet.
Coffee canister.
I mean, if you want to go further, yeah, my phone. I have to turn the alarm off. But yeah, the coffee canister.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I like some coffee.
Yep.
ANDe, people can find you on Facebook and Instagram. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, just do a search for Blue City Kayaks on Facebook. You can actually go to www.bluecitykayaks.com, and that'll take you to our Facebook page. And then Instagram's going to be Blue City Kayaks as well.
And for
all one word.
For everyone following along at home, I'll put that in our show notes. ANDe, do you have anything for me? Any questions or comments?
No, just had a good time. I hope people come out and give kayaking a try. We're going to make it as safe as possible, and I always like to tell people it's the most Memphis thing you've never done.
That's great. ANDe, thanks for coming out. Thanks for your time.
Great. Thanks for having me.